I was born in Owatonna and raised there and in Minneapolis. Came to Carleton as a freshman in 1949. I had two brothers, half-brothers here ahead of me. And then I graduated in 1953. At that time, the Korean War was phasing down, but still there was a draft. And I wanted to do anything to avoid going to Korea, even in the semi-peaceful state. And I was in naval aviation for 4 years, and then during that time, for reasons that I've never fully assessed, I decided to look into coaching, either high school or college, which I did. That was in 57, 58. And I was brought in to be a football coach, and they said, you might have some additional duties, and that was fine. They said, oh, you got to coach cross country. I said, God, I've never seen a cross country meet. I don't even know what to do. They said, well, that's easy. Tell them to go out and run, and then you show up on Saturdays and make sure that the meet goes off. And so the first cross-country meet I'd coached, first team I'd coached, was the first one I'd ever seen. And then just stayed around, and at that time, I think they kind of gave out tenure unless you had assaulted somebody in the bald spot. And I also had another sphere of ignorance in which I spread myself, and that was coaching ice hockey. Which was a humbling element of Carleton coaching at that time, because if cross country was easy to coach because we attracted lots of kids that were prone toward that, hockey was a disaster because we attracted relatively few Minnesota kids. We had a great goalie who got a terrific workout every game and lots of practice, and that was phased out, and I was allowed to then spend more time on indoor and outdoor track.
With Coach Huyck's increased focus, the cross-country program flourished into a national powerhouse, culminating in a surprise 1980 national championship. Outside of the Carleton bubble, Coach Huyck was somewhat of an ambassador, engaging in cross-cultural coaching opportunities.
In 1964 and 65, I worked for the State Department as advisor coach to the Egyptian or UAR track and field program, which was kind of a goofy Cold War anachronism, perhaps, or strange vestige of the Cold Wars, when the communists and the free world were sending people out in all kinds of cultural exchanges. But it's a terribly poor culture. And the athletes were largely affluent people, young professionals, a lot of Army officers and Air Force officers among them, with one exception, and both of you will get a kick out of this. The one ignorant, illiterate element of the track team were distance runners. And they collected this poor godforsaken bunch of truly illiterate soldiers out of the Army who had done well on forced marches, and brought them into the national training headquarters, and invariably, though they seemed strong relative to their peers, lots of them had intestinal parasites and stuff brought about from living in the infected areas of the Nile Delta and the Nile Valley, and so once you put them up against people of normal health and normal nutrition, they weren't worth a damn in terms of endurance. So they had to try to treat them and find the ones that were healthy and keep them around for the national team. It was totally different than our culture, a much different ballgame. In '73, we took the one sabbatical that I took in 27 years and coached in rural Portugal for a year. And it confirmed my experiences in Egypt in terms of dealing with different people and different situations. Think of being a distance runner where the roads are so narrow and so dangerous that you can't run on the roads. And there are no big pastures or big parks to run in. And how do you train distance runners under circumstances like that? It was a most enlightening kind of experience.
After athletic director stints for 11 years at University of the South and 1 year at St. Olaf, Coach Huyck ultimately returned to Carleton.
With the great kindness of Billy Tarikas and Dave and Donna Ricks and Leon Lunder, I've been able to help out with track and field here during this time, which has just been an absolute blessing to me. I love the associations, I love the sport, and being around people whose concerns are not arthritis and strokes is damn pleasant.